What is going on, everybody? Gamers Goon here today with your second round NBA mock. The draft was last night. We had some curveballs, we had some interesting picks for each and every single team. Today, we're going to try to figure out just how teams wrap up their 2025 draft class. Now, we have a couple guys still on the board that are extremely interesting. I did have to go in here and make every single pick because Fanspo does not keep it up to date. So, if the trades were wrong, I apologize, but I believe everybody should be correct here in the second round. Now, I look at a team here in the Timberwolves, and obviously you see a lot of talent here following Maxime Reynaud, a guy we thought would go first round, Rasheer Fleming, a guy we thought could go first round, Kalkbrenner, a guy that was kind of borderline first round, Adu Thero, a guy I really like. Um, Here, I'm going to make it quick, easy, and simple. You have Beringer here now to kind of be the protege and the guy you really develop and hope to be the long-term replacement of Rudy Gobert. You still probably lose Naz Reid. Julius Randle will obviously accept his player option. I still think there's a need for a big man here that can stretch the floor and shoot. And you look at a guy here in Rasheer Fleming. I don't know why he is still here. Really super talented guy. Can play the three, can play the four, maybe even some small ball five. Can shoot the ball well. Really long arms. Will defend well at the next level. A little bit on the older side of prospects, so that might be one of the reasons. But this is a guy here that I really want the Bulls to trade up for in this second round because I think Rasheer Fleming is a first round caliber player sitting here at the early second round because you saw some of those guys we didn't really expect to make it into the first round go much higher than where we thought they might, and Rasheer Fleming kind of slid down the board a little bit. This to me, it'd be a great thing here if you are the Timberwolves. This is a team ready to compete right away. Rasheer Fleming's a guy that can come in and do that. You have your big swing at Beringer and hopefully long-term protege there to Gobert. Now you get a guy here in Rasheer Fleming that helps you compete right away, can shoot the three ball, and most importantly on this team can be a pesky defender. I would really like to get him if I were Chicago. Unfortunately, we won't be able to. I'm not going to make any trades. So we saw a bunch of trades last night. So we're just going to stick and pick with everybody's pick. The Celtics, they took Hugo. They took Hugo Gonzalez, the super athletic kind of wing out of Real Madrid, Spain. They obviously don't have Kristaps Porzingis anymore. Here, we kind of thought they might take big man earlier. Well, guess what? They didn't really need to because 28th, 29, 30, 31, you figured, hey, one of our guys, Maxime Reynaud, Fleming, or Kalkbrenner will be on the board. Here, I think you got to take Reynaud. He is a guy here that can stretch the floor really, really well, shoot the three ball at a high level. He's a guy that I think will translate pretty well into the NBA, and you get him here on a team in the Celtics who can really spend time developing him this season and getting ready for a year or two down the line when Jason Tatum's healthy, which ultimately should be their goal, is not necessarily getting guys that are immediately ready, but getting guys that will have a year of ramp-up period before, hey, now it's time that we got to lock in and win a championship again. The Hornets now up. They have back-to-back picks. They took Con Knipple and Liam McNeely. They did trade Mark Williams here last night. So that leaves Nurkic and Diabate as their only true centers. I'm going to have them draft Ryan Kalkbrenner. This is a guy here that was kind of the hub of the offense at Creighton. Not going to be asked to do necessarily all that, but he'll have the long, lengthy arms, be able to block shots. A decent shooter. I mean, you're not going to want him to shoot threes or anything, but he can expand his range a little bit. I'm going to need to probably put on some weight to beg around with the NBA bigs, but at this point, the talent is there with Kalkbrenner to take the chance on that. Then you get another pick back to back, and here I think we're going to take Noah Pinda. This is another kid that was a potential first rounder. There was some buzz that he'd go late first round, didn't happen. Another high upside swing here, but you look at Concanipple, kind of safe floor. Liam McNeely, kind of safe because you really know that he's probably just going to play off ball, hit the three with LaMelo kicking it out to him, go get rebounds, and be a willing defender. Kalkbrenner, a little bit of a gamble. You're kind of betting on him and his ability to hang around with NBA bigs. Noah Pinta here is going to be my swing for the Hornets. I think you get a guy here that is a super valuable wing, really long, lengthy guy, but a guy with some upside there. The 76ers, they went VJ Edgecombe, and I think you probably see them go power forward here. Power forward room, let's be honest, looking a little bit weak. I'm looking here. Adu Thera would be nice, but I'm looking here and I see Johnny Broome. This is a guy that I have a real hard time passing on if I were them. This is a team that should be looking to compete next year. Obviously, you'll be healthy now, and then you got Edge come into the mix. You'll have Jared McCann back. You'll have, obviously, Embiid back. Broome is a guy that even when Embiid is down could take some time at center. He's one of those more physical prospects. He's gonna be unlike we brought up with Kalkbrenner. We don't really know if he'll bang around with the bigs. Broome will. A little bit smaller than Kalkbrenner, but this is a guy here that I think is just one tough SOB. This is a guy that you need on your team if you are looking to compete. Johnny Broome, congratulations, you're the 35th pick to the 76ers. All right, so here is what I look at with the Nets. Yegor Dimon, big-time passing playmaker guy. Nolan Traore, a lot of passing upside. Drake Powell, 3-and-D, but still another decent playmaker. Ben Serif, good playmaker. Danny Wolf, good playmaker. It seems as if they are in the market for good playmakers. Now, I look at, okay, you drafted two true point guards. You could argue Dimon's a shooting guard. I think he'll be better off at the point guard. It is what it is. But you drafted two guards, a forward, another guard, and a center. So here to me, you probably look at the small forward position, and then maybe the power forward as well. Is there a guy that stands out? Michael Ruzic is a guy that kind of seems a little bit interesting here because if you go here, Bertans and Kleba are some of his comparisons. Good passer. I don't know that that's going to be a guy that comes over right away, but once again, this team has 5 rookies. Do you need a guy here right away? Bogoslav Markovic, he's another interesting option here, but I think I would probably lean towards Ruzic. But Markovic here is Jonas Jerebko. Lauri Markkanen's a decent comp. But I think here I would lean towards drafting and stashing Michael Ruzic and letting him play overseas for a year or two. But no, the game continue to develop with him, bringing him in when you're ready. They have 5. Can they really have 6 rookies come to camp next year? I don't think so. They're going to draft and stash Ruzic here, and he's going to be a guy that 2 or 3 years down the line, you're going to be like, well, who'd they get there? Oh, Ruzic is coming in? Okay, well, we'll see what it is. And he could turn out to be a really solid playmaker. I don't necessarily see, like, crazy upside, but if you can get a really good playmaking role player out of this pick, I think the Nets should be very happy because they had 5 picks in the first round, and now they're taking their 6th. The Pistons, this is a team that cannot really afford a draft and stash, in my opinion. I look at a team here, Kate Cunningham, Marcus Sasser, Malik Beasley, Jaden Ivey, Osar Thompson. I would probably lean towards getting a power forward or center. This is another team that Broome would make a lot of sense on. Tobias Harris getting on long-term. Small forward, you probably could add another guy there into the wings. We'll see if we get an option here. Adidou Thero, really elite defender, a guy that's going to need to work on his offense. 3-point shooter here in Alex Tui. This might seem crazy, but super good athlete here in Jamir Watkins. I'm kind of leaning Jamir Watkins here. Really good defensively. Let's see if we can find one of his comps. Haywood Highsmith, Najee Marshall. Those are guys that you'd want on your NBA team, I feel like. But this guy can defend all over the place, and he's also a guy that you'd expect to be a decent scorer. I mean, he scored 18 points a game at Florida State. I think the three ball will be part of his game in the NBA. I still think he can get a little bit better at it, but Jamir Watkins is a guy here that I'm hoping the Bulls could find a way to get if they miss out on some of these big men prospects. But Jamir Watkins, a little bit crazy to think that Adidou Thero would be going after him, but we also saw some guys in the first round that we didn't think were going to be in the first round. Jamir Watkins, I like the player. I'm just sticking with it there at that pick. Next, we get to the Spurs. The Spurs took Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. They had a really, really good first night. To me, you're probably looking at a big man to add to the fray. Carter Bryant, I know, will play some power forward. I view him more so as a small forward. I think maybe you could look even at backup big man here. This is another team that could probably go and draft a draft and stash. But will they? Will they draft a draft and stash? You know what? I think they might. We're going to go Bogolub Markovic. He's another guy that has some good potential. Not going to be a guy that I think plays next year, but a guy that, nonetheless, I think if you're a team like the Spurs, you take the swing on. I think the upside might be a little bit better than maybe Adidou Thero at this spot. Okay. So the Raptors drafted Colin Murray-Boyles. They drafted Colin Murray-Boyles, who's obviously going to play some power forward for him. Scotty Barnes is going to play some three. We talked about them possibly needing a center. Is center still in play here with Adidou Thero, who kind of is a lesser version of CMB? Is center still in play here with maybe Rocco Zikarsky? Or could Victor Lakin be one of those guys here? This is another guy that I think will take some time. But good rim protector. Let's see if we can get one of your comps for you. Is it going to give you a comp? No, it doesn't. It doesn't give us a comp. But this is a guy that, for the most part, really solid defender. A little bit bigger. I think I prefer to go guys that have a little bit more production than, Rocco is rated 41 on ESPN because he's super big, super long. But this is a guy that is not really there yet. This is a guy that he's going to be a project. I think you might see a team here in the Raptors kind of just say, you know what, we do need a big man to back up Pirtle. We're going to go find our guy here in Victor Lakin out of Clemson. We get to the Pelicans. The Pelicans had a really good draft. Fears, Queen. I think they have potential to add to it now. I look at Fears and Queen, super high offensive upside guys, right? Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, both seem to be on the trading block here and there. This is a team that brought in Jordan Poole, also not a good defender. Adidou Thero here makes a lot of sense. Really good defender. You're going to start needing defenders on this team because you don't have very many at the moment. Adidou Thero will give that to you. All right, we get to the Warriors. The Warriors with their first pick, and is there any way I could just not give them Alex Tui? He'll be a spot-up three-point shooter for him, but I think it's just gonna happen. Tui, catch and shoot three-point shooter. He kind of just fits this version of the Warriors. The Warriors just a team that always you feel like they're gonna take a three-point shooter. Guess what? Tui fits that mold. The Kings now on the clock. They took Nick Clifford. Now, what could you see the Kings possibly do? Nate Clifford is kind of going to run this shooting guard small forward role. You could see maybe another big man, maybe another guard. They have DeMar, they have Zach. One of them will play the small forward. We're going to try to draft a guard here. Can we make one make sense? Tyrese Proctor, a guy I really like with some size at the position. I think he probably could have been a little bit higher if he didn't play at Duke with all that talent, with Cooper Flag, with Kamal Malwatch, with Con Knipple, 3 top 10 players. Tyrese Proctor here, I think, is worth a shot. He's not going to be a guy that comes in right away and is like a superstar, but he's going to be a guy that comes in right away and can be your backup guard, might be able to develop into something a little bit more than that, but this is a guy that I think would be a good player to bank on as like, hey, every single night we know who's coming off the bench as our 6th man, and it's Tyrese Proctor. This is the Wizards pick, and they acquired it somehow. I think because they traded up. They traded up for Walter Clayton, and they traded down for Walter Clayton. So this is a team here: Trey Johnson, Will Riley, very similar to the situation we just talked about 2 really good offensive weapons. They're kind of still searching for their score. Here, I think you probably look towards the big man position, move Sarr potentially to power forward if it's possible, try to find somebody here. But is there really any good options? Eric Dixon is an interesting option for me, Amari Williams as well, Grant Nelson there as well. I think this would not be a draft and stash pick. Mohamed Faye is somebody that I feel like could be a solid pickup as well, more so on the upside. Do we want to go? Because right here, with this pick, I do want to draft a big man. It's between Mohamed Faye. I don't know if it'll be Vlad. Dylan Cardwell is an option as well. I don't know why, but I really like Mohamed Faye here. I would like Mohamed Faye here as a potential guy, a guy that could once again develop alongside Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr obviously is the crowning jewel of this team. You don't want to necessarily hinder his development. I don't think Faye is somebody that's going to necessarily impact how Sarr develops, but he's a guy that if you were developing and getting Sarr to be that guy, Faye is a guy that could also take some steps behind Sarr to learn and potentially play the center position while Sarr plays power forward. It's another one of these swings. He might even play overseas next year. The Thunder now with pick 44. They took Thomas Sorber. I think you see them here probably just go an extremely safe pick. Kason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins. Like, I'm looking here. I say Chaz Lanier. I think it's Chaz Lanier. Really good pickup. Cam Jones still around. Would be a good pick for them as well. Could run maybe some 3. Or you could have Jalen Williams run some 3, and he can run some 2. Back up 2 to Kason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins long term. Big time scorer there in Cam Jones. Kobe Bryant makes sense as a 3-point shooter, a little bit taller than Cam Jones. Eric Dixon, I don't really love on this team. I think here we are going to draft Cam Jones. I like the offensive versatility here. A good shooter, a guy that you'd plan on, like, hey, if Shea and J-Dub just want to have a night off, Cam Jones can pick up the slack. So, Cam Jones, get richer there. The Chicago Bulls are now up. Board's fallen interestingly for the Bulls. Noah Senge was the pick. A lot of Bulls fans were not happy about. I don't have much interest in a Rocco. I don't really want Vlad Golden. Lachlan Olbrich, you don't really want him. Amari Williams, I like. Dylan Cardwell, we brought in. here with the Bulls, we're sticking and picking. This isn't about what I want to do. This is what I think might be a good pick. This is Nicolas Abdalis is also another guy I'd watch out for in this draft. I don't know too much about him, but if you look at like this guy right here, 26th with Luka like potential. This is a guy to watch out for. I don't know if any of that is going to hit, but a guy that I would watch out for. Kobe Sanders is another guy here that I think the Bulls could target. A little bit bigger, not going to play center, but another guy here that I think kind of fits the mold of what the Bulls are looking for. Can do a lot of really good things for him. The Bulls. See, I'm speaking with my heart now rather than my head. The Bulls are going to take probably a shooter. They probably view Noah Asenge as enough at the big man position. I would have been saying the same thing if they drafted Kaman Malawatcher. Here's the thing. They still need more bigs because you look at this big man team. They have Noah Asenge. That's great. Noah Asenge flies in here at the power forward position. Maybe the 3, Modest would fly in at the 4 long term. Either way, you have one true power forward. You have these 3, Vooch, Stick Smith, and Zach Collins. Zach Collins, after next year, will be up on contract. Stick Smith will still be around. And Vooch, once again, will be off after next year. Potentially a trade candidate as well. You figure they find a big man. Well, that's not how the Bulls do business. I think they go Kobe Brea here. A shooter off ball. You're going to look at a guy here that is going to be a knockdown shooter when Josh Giddey gets the ball to him. I don't think the Bulls are going to go big man. I really don't. So we're going to go Kobe Brea here at 45. We get the Magic. The Magic took Jace Richardson. This is another team here that could take a big man, could take a backup big man. Obviously, you got Desmond Bane now on this team. Desmond Bane's still on this team. Don't love the big man options, but I think here I'm going to try to find something in Grant Nelson. Grant Nelson played really well at Alabama throughout his career. Not a super high athletic guy, but a really good all-around basketball player. And I think a team here in the Magic could potentially like that. He can do a lot of good things for them. The Bucks now up to pick. The Bucks, they could maybe use a guard. It's just Damian Lillard around. This team is not very good outside of Giannis. They have a lot of older bigs. This team could probably use a guard. I'm going to try to find somebody here that could play alongside Damian Lillard. I think that could be Chaz Lanier. I think Chaz Lanier here is a really good defensive option. He's a guy that will be able to score and be able to work next to Damian Lillard for the time being. Tanji was another option as a potential guy that could take over and be an offensive weapon for him, but Chaz Lanier here is my pick. The Grizzlies, they have Cedric Howard now, who they traded for last night. Desmond Bane off this team. Cedric Howard, you figure, is going to slot in here. They could still use probably another wing as well. This is kind of where I just want to use my little... I don't know anything about this guy. Nicolas Abdalis, I don't know anything about him. The one blurb about him here says Luka. If that is true, somebody will gamble on him. We're gonna have Nicolas Abdalis go here to the Grizzlies. Might be a drafting stash, but a guy that could potentially add some playmaking there at that small forward shooting guard position, one or the other. The Cavaliers should be very excited. They definitely need some more big men depth. Vladislav Golden's around. Rocco Zikarsky's around. Ulbrich is around. Amari Williams is around. Dylan Cardwell is around. Kobe Saunders, Eric Dixon. A lot of decent options here. With this pick, though, I think I'm going to go... I don't mind Dean Wade as a backup. I do think I need a better backup center, though. We're going to go and rock with Amari Williams, who I really like out of Kentucky, on the older side of prospects, though. The Knicks, this is one of the picks that they actually own. The Knicks, Deuce McBride's around, right? Jalen Brunson's around. Cam Payne, Tyler Kolek. You have guards waiting to potentially break out. Pacome Dadier, small forwards. You got a good bit there. Could use maybe another big man. We're gonna find a big man for them at the power forward position, and I think here, I don't know if an Eric Dixon makes a lot of sense because I'm looking for guys that can potentially defend. Izan Almansa does potentially make some sense. I think he's a guy that will be able to do some good things defensively. We'll see. Can we get a comp? A Rob Williams. At this point, if you get a Rob Williams, you can get a Rob Williams. We're going to go Izan Almansa. Might be a guy that they draft and stash. We'll see some draft and stashes here in the second round for sure. The Clippers. The Clippers took Yannick Conan Niederhauser out of Penn State. Was not really on my radar that they would be looking for a center. They were. Power forward and small forward still options for them as well. I would imagine Eric Dixon kind of fits what they usually draft for. Same thing with Kobe Sanders. The older prospects, they don't really take too many big swings. I'm going to lean Kobe Sanders here. Play that power forward position for them, and be a guy that could back up Kobe Brown or Kawhi or whoever plays that power forward for him. Kaman Malawach was the pick at 10. This is still a team that I think is looking for playmakers. I don't know if you get that out of Javon Small necessarily. I don't know what his game will translate to in the NBA. 3 points. Can we get I'm looking for comparisons here. And I don't think I'm going to get any comparisons. Terry Rozier. I mean, all these guys are decent passers, but I'm trying to look for like a insane right. Ryan Nembhard here, 10 assists a game nearly. I think here we're gonna try to do something here with Ryan Nembhard, draft him and really hope that the playmaking shines through. A little bit undersized. The Jazz, they took Ace Bailey, Walter Clayton. I think you could still see them possibly take another wing to back up Ace Bailey. I would be looking for a guy that can shoot the rock pretty well. Hunter Salas sticks out. RJ Luis sticks out as an option. The 3-ball, I think, is better than what he showed. John Tonji would not be a bad pickup. I actually do like John Tonji here. Another guy that can score the rock really, really well. A little bit on the older side of things, but once again, you don't really care at this point. Pacers on the 54th. Oh, I think the Pacers did trade for a pick. I apologize. I think the Pacers did trade for a pick. Pacers, second round pick. Yeah, they have 38. So they own the Bogoslav Markovic spot. They could probably go maybe Adu Thero. We're not going back, but they own this spot. I don't know if they own 54. We will go with, and that's just because fans are so behind on things. They should update it. But we're going to find here probably a guard. I think we might go, because obviously going to be playing next year without Halliburton. You're going to need some shooting even with Halliburton on the team. I think Javon Small would be a decent pickup there for you. The Lakers, the Lakes show their first pickup. Hunter Salas is a guy that I think could shoot the 3-ball at the next level pretty well. They've got a lot of guards on this team. Connect. Big man in position is not good. I think they probably take a swing at a big man. They probably take a swing for a big man. Rocco Zikarsky's still there. Super raw. I think he gets drafted, though, so he'll go here at 55. This pick does not exist. Not to throw shade at anybody, but we are going to go Tomislav Ivicic because he will be back at Illinois next year. So this pick does not actually count. We get to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies took Cedric Howard and Nicolas Avdalis, two really lengthy guys. Jaren Jackson on this team, Zach Edey on this team, a lot of good big men. We might look for another guy here that could play potentially a little bit safer than Nicolas Avdalis, but he could play off ball and score, and he'll be a good defender as well. We're going to draft R.J. Luis here. The Magic now up Jace Richardson, Grant Nelson were their picks. Dink Pate's looking at me. He's looking at me as a super athletic kid there that was at one point supposed to go first round. We won't have him fall out of the draft. We won't have Dink Pate fall out of the draft. The Cavs, they took Amari Williams. I think they could even double up potentially. They are going to need another guard, though, because you look at Ty Jerome, and he'll probably be gone with making some money. Sion James still around. I think it's good value, good defender. A little bit on the older side, but once again, good defender, decent offensively, a guy that I think should get drafted. Then you get to the Suns with the last pick of their draft. They took Malawach, they took Nembhard. We were talking about, they could go take one of these guards. Well, guess what? Hunter Salas is still around. Good shooter. Guy that before Gonzaga was a 5-star pick, or a 5-star prospect. This is a guy that I think should be drafted. So there you have it. There's our whole second round. I did mess it up a little bit with the Pacers there, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully you Pacers fans don't get too mad. But there we go. There's our second round mock. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next time.